Hey guys, welcome back to I'm Just a Fan. It's your host Ben, and we're going to be talking about Arsenal beating Everton over the weekend. It was a 2-0 victory. It did not go as planned, but Arsenal still got the result, and I think this might have been the one to push us over to the final stage to finally say that we might be Premier League champions. And apologies for getting this out a little late. Look, I'm an American, as you can hear with my accent, and at least in America, we were celebrating St. Patty's on Saturday, so I was watching Arsenal, and then actually went out. So definitely was not going to be in the state to record after, but regardless, we're here to talk about it. I watched the highlights back as well. I still saw the full game, but just wanted to kind of refresh my mind a little bit. And first, we just need to start with Max Dowman. There's no one else that deserves the starting point of this video. It's other than him, it's him. And the main reason is because he arguably won this game for Arsenal. And first off, before we get into Max Dowman, I want to talk about Mikel Arteta real quick. And I just want to give him credit for, making this move. Now, some people have been saying, and it is somewhat true, Arsenal maybe didn't have other people that they could go to on the bench, which I don't disagree with, because you had already tried having Madueke and Saka on, and they both really weren't doing a ton for you. At that point, you were going to have to go to Trossard or Martinelli. You already were starting Eze, you're already down Martin Odegaard. And just the fact that, that late in the game, when Arsenal needed something to change, the fact that he went to Max Dowman, I got to give Arteta credit. I have to give Arteta credit because, again, a guy that's been, criticized for being pretty conservative over the last couple of years, someone that kind of likes to control lots of aspects of their team and doesn't like to play very, risky football. For that sub to be made in that type of moment, I just thought it was a monster move, and it paid off. Not only did it pay off, I think that's about as good as it could have gone. In the 88th minute, when Arsenal needed something to click, he has a beautiful, beautiful cross. Not actually to Victor Gyökeres, but it deflects off of Hincapié. And then I can't remember if Hincapié either kicked it a little bit or it just fell off of him right in front of Victor Gyökeres. Pickford had already kind of tried to go for it at this point, and he gambled and he lost. And it was an easy tap-in, but who cares? Victor Gyökeres is there, and he scores. And again, credit to Gyökeres for being ready in that situation. But again, credit to Dowman for the cross, to have the confidence to even go for that type of shot, to make something happen, to create chaos within the box. I just thought that was freaking huge from this kid. Again, in this type of game, Arsenal are in a pretty solid position point-wise prior to the end of this result. But knowing what it's going to be like if you actually capitalize on, getting a win, and the fact that he actually went for it and it worked, I just thought it was some monster stuff, and I wanted to give Dowman credit because, again, none of our guys were getting us over the line. So this 16-year-old that comes on and has the balls to take that cross, and it works out, take my hat, my invisible hat off for him, because it's just incredible stuff. But what was even more impressive was his goal, and credit to Victor Gyökeres for heading the ball out. It was kind of put into some traffic. He heads it out. All of a sudden, I think if I remember correctly, Dowman has a beautiful touch, and then he just starts running. He starts running, and he's starting to go past the Everton defenders. He makes one guy miss in a brutal way, and at that point, it is just a clear shot towards the goal. Obviously, Pickford is not there because they had sent him already all the way over to try to go for some type of corner, but oh my God, just beautiful stuff. And again, the kid deserves that type of goal in that type of moment to, number one, get Arsenal over the line when a bunch of grown men on, very high wages couldn't get them over the line. This 16-year-old kid that comes on with obviously a ton of talent, but still really little to no experience in the Premier League. To do that type of stuff is just massive. And then really what this type of win represents, and there's multiple ways that you can look at this. Number one, and again, this is with the context, of course, of Manchester City drawing as well later in that day. Arsenal are now 9 points clear with 7 games left in the Prem. I'm not saying that they couldn't bottle it. If any club would do it, obviously Arsenal could, but it just feels like Arsenal have this within their grasp right now. It just feels like they got it. And, to have a kid from the academy, not a kid that, you bought in somewhere else. No, this is a kid from the academy that's been Arsenal through and through. And he seals it off, edging himself into history potentially as the night that the fan base collectively said, you know what, I think we're winning the Premier League. And just for him to do that in that situation, again, trusting a 16-year-old it just felt magical. It really was one of my favorite games I've watched so far as an Arsenal fan. And look, I'm not even going to say it was the prettiest game of all time. It really wasn't, but just the ending and just seeing the star power from a kid that we needed someone to step up, and he did it out of everyone. It just was something written out of, a storybook. It was just fantastic. I also want to give credit to the defenders. I mean, the defending in this game was insane. I mean, you have to start with the Calafiori block with his freaking feet. Just shows how bad you want it. Gabriel making multiple plays. Late in the game, Hincapié with a beautiful tackle. David Raya consistently just making, again, stellar saves. This is just what this team does. It's what they do. And even Timber goes down with an injury. Mascara goes on. You don't even notice. Like, this is just what this team does. And again, I know the story is about Max Dowman getting it done, but I also, again, want to give credit to the defense for keeping us in this game, because there were multiple times where Everton could have taken a lead if they just had the ball go slightly in another direction, or if it doesn't hit the post. Like, there were so many things, and I just wanted to give credit to the defense as well for even keeping Arsenal in this game. Now, what I wanted to talk about moving forward is, will this type of energy translate and really, I guess, carry itself into the rest of Arsenal's season? I'm recording this on the 16th, so Arsenal will be playing tomorrow in the UCL. I'm hoping to get this video up prior to that. But, like, in the Champions League, in the FA Cup, in the Carabao Cup on Sunday against Manchester City, will Arsenal almost be a little bit looser now that they know, like, look, the league isn't won, and I still think that they need to respect the Premier League, of course, but at the same time, you have a cushion. You have a little bit of a cushion, not that you want to mess up, but maybe this allows Arteta to maybe rotate a little bit more. I'm just not sure, and maybe even just the mental aspect of it as well. As you know, some of these guys have been in this locker room multiple years at this point. They've felt the pressure the last couple of years. They've never been in a position where you're 9 points clear this late into the season. I'm just curious to see if this is going to maybe loosen up Arsenal a little bit. And I'm very curious to see how Arsenal do specifically in the Champions League, because, this is the most difficult competition that they'll be in for the rest of the season. And, it's so close to the most recent performance just on Saturday that maybe that energy will, kind of transfer over. Also, again, the second leg is at the Emirates. I mean, the Emirates is going to be buzzing. It was going to be buzzing regardless, but after what we saw on Saturday, I don't see how that place isn't going to be rocking. The entire stadium is going to be believing, because we're at that point now with the Prem. And again, if you can get over that mental hurdle with the Prem, why can't it apply to the rest of the competitions that Arsenal are in? But that's all I wanted to talk about today. Look, this wasn't going to be a very long video, but I just thought it was something that needed to be made. I was a little busy with St. Patty's this weekend and just had a lot going on yesterday, but still wanted to get this out. I don't care how late it is, because this just feels like a pivotal moment in this club's history. And I really do think that might have been the night that we say Arsenal win the Premier League. Like, this is the night we're going to go back to if they end up winning the Prem in late May, or whenever they end up winning the Prem, hopefully. And I think this was the night that got them over the line. We'll have to see again how the rest of the season goes. But again, with Manchester City now continuing their inconsistent form, it's really all up on Arsenal now. Like, you're 9 points clear. It's on you to finish the job, and I think they will. And yeah, just wanted to document this, because this was one of the biggest nights in my fandom of following the club so far. That's all I had in this video. Feel free to give it a like. If you like this type of content, feel free to subscribe. Drop any of your thoughts down below. My TikTok will be in the description down below if you want to check that out. If you made this far in the video, I greatly appreciate you. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace, guys.